Okay, joining me now is Mr. Bill Enright, the CEO of VACC. Hi, Bill.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, thank you so much for joining us today. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
네, 백시텍은 아스트라제네카 코로나 백신 원천 기술을 갖고 있는 기업으로 유명합니다. 보유한 기업으로 알려져 있는데요. 한국 투자자들에게 백시텍이 어떤 회사인지 소개 부탁드립니다.
Sure. So VACC was founded in 2016, and it's really grown from a privately held UK biotech into a headline-generating US-listed company with a market cap that's a little more than 500 million right now. We're developing pretty innovative immunotherapeutic products to deal with cancer and infectious disease. And in fact, primarily in trying to use the T-cell arm of the immune system. And we've actually got ongoing clinical studies right now in South Korea, in Seoul, for our hepatitis B program. So we've got a potential functional cure against hepatitis B, in addition to HPV and then some programs in oncology. Our approach is really based on some research that was initially done at the Jenner Institute at the University of Oxford. And so that's a pretty prestigious institute, and our founders, Dr. Adrian Hill and Sarah Gilbert, very involved in the COVID-19 work that's been done using the same platform. So the technology is a prime boost platform. So it comprises a chimpanzee adenoviral vector and as a prime to prime the immune system. And then we come back with a second vector, which is a different viral vector called MVA. And that really allows you to stimulate a very robust immune response. And that's really where the secret sauce is this prime boost approach.
백시텍의 백신 개발 기술이 mRNA보다 뛰어난 이유를 좀 설명해 주실 수 있을까요?
Yeah, so the technology is very useful, as I mentioned, in generating T cells. But the chimp adenovirus also generates a very robust antibody response. And so you get this nice immune response that kind of mimics the way the body normally sees a virus. So you get antibodies and T cells. And that's really what differentiates it from the mRNA technology platform, because the mRNA really is mostly antibodies and CD4. And it may be too technical for your audience, but it's a different kind of T cell. We're both able to develop this very, very rapidly, and that was one of the key things we wanted to do is get this out to as many people as quickly as possible. And so we were involved in the very early development of that. But when you're talking about a small biotech, trying to develop a vaccine that's going to be global and necessary for 7+ billion people in the world, recognize that getting a large pharma involved in that commercialization and manufacturing was pretty important if we were going to try and reach as many people as quickly as possible. So we did the license agreement with the university so that AstraZeneca could have exclusive rights to that, and then now that's a significant potential financial resource for us.
코로나 백신 원천 기술로 알려지긴 했지만 사실 백시텍은 넓은 파이프라인을 갖고 있습니다. 비소세포성 폐암 치료제와 전립선암 치료제가 임상에 진입한 것으로 알려져 있는데요. 앞으로의 계획에 대해서 설명 부탁드립니다.
Yeah, so we've got two oncology programs right now. The prostate cancer program, we showed some very interesting or promising results last year at ASCO. So we had a 22% response rate when you're looking at PSA, which is a pretty standard measurement for prostate cancer. Where in checkpoint inhibitor alone studies, they're getting in the 9% range. So there's significant improvement there. We're doing some modifications to that product right now to hopefully increase that rate, and we're hoped to be back in the clinic in the first half of next year. On the lung cancer program, that program we've partnered with Cancer Research UK, and they are sponsoring a pretty large phase 1/2 study. And that study will be starting to enroll patients very near term in the next few weeks. We'll start enrolling patients in that study. We won't have results from that for a year and a half, but we'll start seeing some results of that and see how that program progresses.
지난 5월 상장 이후 첫 2분기 실적을 발표하셨는데요. 다가오는 3분기 실적 그리고 올해 실적 전망을 어떻게 하고 계신지 궁금합니다.
We're not giving guidance on the earnings forecast. We don't have any licensed products other than the COVID-19 that we've out-licensed to AstraZeneca. So it's all, everything's in clinical development right now. So, but we did have two pretty significant financings earlier this year, as you mentioned. We had a Series B where we raised about $168 million, and then a month later, we did the IPO where we raised about $110 million. So we're well positioned from cash. And the last guidance, we said that should get us into the first half of 2024, funds the major milestones from these programs moving forward. So we've got some interesting milestones coming up from the hepatitis B program. We'll have some data later in the fourth quarter and some efficacy data in the first quarter of next year. And then on our HPV program, we'll have some interim data in the second quarter of next year. So we've got a lot of milestones in the relatively near term. So it's a pretty exciting time for the company. From a growth perspective, we announced recently that we're moving into a new facility. So we're moving in. We're currently in about a 5,000 square foot facility, and we're moving into a 31,000 square foot facility, about 20 minutes from where we are in the Oxford area. And so we're really excited about that as well. So we're adding a lot of personnel right now to keep up with the growth of these clinical programs. It's a fun time to be with the company.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.